Awesome. So I will start. And Christina and I are both controlling the screen, so sometimes we may jump from slide to slide, and we'll get you all caught up once it needs to be. So I've got a bad internet connection, so I apologize. I'm going to be muting my video pretty soon, and Christina's going to be running with most of this. I'll probably go through the first few slides, and then I'm going to turn it over to her. So first of all, thank you all for joining us. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all you do. And I appreciate that you want to learn more about this. This is not the funnest topic, but it's one of the most important that we as Rotarians have to have. So I want to start out just by thanking Christina Lanzona. I hope I pronounced that right, like Arizona. Yep. All right. Yep. Perfect. I've been practicing. She is a district support specialist for the Stewardship Department from Rotary International, and she is going to be going through most of this. So I appreciate her joining us and sharing her expertise with us tonight at 7, because obviously we've seen she's got 3 kids that are very interested in taking mom and playing with her. So we've got to respect their time as well as ours. Today's agenda, we're going to go through what is stewardship, some stewardship examples, some best practices. We're going to also look into, and I'm sorry, there's people popping up on my screen, still trying to get in.
I'll let them in.
Perfect. And then we're also going to go through some cadre stuff as well. And then at the end, we're going to answer any of your questions. So if you have questions, we'll open it up at the end, but also feel free to put it in the chat. And so we will address those questions at the end of the presentation or during if it's appropriate. So we want it to be interactive. And then there's going to be a couple polls here and there that we will also be going through as well. So obviously, I introduced myself. I am currently an ARRFC for 6220, 6250, and 6270. Those are the Wisconsin districts, and they cover a little bit of Michigan and Minnesota as well. And I will let Christina introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. You've met me briefly. I've been at Rotary as an employee for 6 years. 2 of those were in the fundraising department on the 17th floor, if any of you have been to one Rotary Center. And now I am with Stewardship. So that's been the past 4 years. And that's my contact information there. So feel free, email me with any questions that you may have.
Perfect. So what is stewardship? I don't remember if this was mine or your slide, Christina.
Yeah, you're this section.
Perfect. I will run this one. So stewardship is really about looking at the grant from start to finish, making sure that we're being good stewards of our money, making sure that we're following our MOUs and ensuring that our funds are used effectively to accomplish the scope of impact and the Sustainable Rotary Project. It's using Rotary funds responsibly and staying in open communication between sponsors and the Rotary Foundation about the use of those funds. Basically, stewardship encompasses Rotary grant planning, execution, reporting, and financial compliance. And I know that, we're all nervous about that, but I promise it's not as scary as it sounds. It's really about maintaining our 4 out of 4 star rating. I think we're still 100 points out of 100 points on charitynavigator.org. Mm-hmm. It's making sure that we are respected and one of the top charities in the world so that we continue to get the money to make impact all over the world and in our own backyard. So that's really what stewardship is about, is making sure we're doing the right things with our money and doing what we promise that we're going to do. And making sure there's no conflicts of interest and things like that. So with that said, and this is just what I already talked about. So using Rotary funds in a responsible and transparent manner, implementing grant projects, supporting the foundation policy, and proper grant management and financial compliance. So our first poll that we're going to ask today to make sure that everybody's still on here is, do you have a stewardship committee? And there should be a poll that popped up on your screen, and we'll leave it open for about 20 seconds probably.
What hotel do you have here?
Joe, what happens if we don't know?
Then you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Okay, thank you.
I should have put a third answer in there.
I should know, but I don't.
Awesome. We'll end polling. So there you go. Out of the 17 answers, 15 say yes, they do have a stewardship committee, and 2 say no. And I'm guessing the others either have already fell off or they don't know. So awesome. All right. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Christina, and I'm going to mute and my video as well.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Now, for my slides, when I control them, there's a little bit of a delay. So if you see that the slide has gone and I haven't gone yet, that's probably because it's an internet connection. So let's start with some stewardship examples. And here I go. No, it's not moving. There we go. One of the biggest challenges that people think that stewardship only occurs at the end of the project, but the steward should be involved in the project from the planning stage to the completion of the project. As it's not just financial reporting, but also performance measurements reporting, which are goals and sustainability. Some examples that could lead to long-term stewardship issues are late reporting. This can affect your district's reporting percentages, no relationship with the project partner, the host, or the international. So it begs the question, who do you contact on the other side if there are problems? And also there's not enough people involved. People leave clubs, people get sick, people move on, and leadership changes. So no interest in a project. If there's no interest in the project, you get your entire club involved. Okay. All right. So let's start by highlighting what can go wrong without good stewardship. Poor stewardship leads to negative outcomes. Most obviously, it leads to the loss of Rotary funds. This can be because of theft, misappropriation, wasted funds due to inflated pricing, etc. Stewardship issues damage Rotary's reputation. Rotary donors and members make contributions in good faith that their funds will be used effectively. The trustees rely on the integrity of districts, clubs, and Rotarians to ensure that grant funds are used effectively for the purpose for which they are given. On a local level, beneficiary community of a Rotary project will be less likely to want to work with Rotary again if the project is poorly implemented, or if the work quality is poor due to financial management issues. Oh, hold on one second. Okay. Poor stewardship weakens a project. If funds are siphoned away to inflated invoices, theft, etc., then the full project budget cannot be used for the intended project goals. If financial records are not kept, then Rotary has no way to track the funds that were used for the purposes outlined in the grant application. Poor stewardship limits a project's impact. This is true not only financially, but also in terms of project management. A Rotary project without a sustainability plan can have an immediate impact, but even in the short term after the project is finished, that impact can decrease dramatically. For example, without the Rotary Community Corps managing fees for the use of a borehole, there may be no funds available for the repair of that borehole once it stops working. And the beneficiaries may be forced to return the funds using the previous water source. Poor stewardship negatively impacts project beneficiaries and beneficiary communities. Instead of a robust project with long-lasting impact, poor stewardship can result in beneficiaries receiving inadequate equipment or training. Stewardship issues create the risk of sanctions. Clubs that do not comply with Rotary Foundation stewardship policies run the risk of suspension from the Global Grants Project. Clubs with severe stewardship issues run the risk of termination. And finally, the poor stewardship practices fail each part of the four-way test. Mismanagement of funds conceal the true use of Rotary funds. Projects that suffer in financial management and implementation deprive beneficiaries of the full benefit of a Rotary project. Negative impact to Rotary's reputation can diminish goodwill and strain relationships with beneficiary communities. And a project that misuses or wastes funds benefits few to the determinant beneficiaries and Rotary donors. And with that, I'll turn it over to Joe to poll this question.
Perfect. I'll pick up the second poll.
Excuse me.
Next one is, does your stewardship committee consist of more than one person? Give it a few more seconds.
Kind of split.
Yeah, you got about 9 that say it does, and 5 that you are a committee of one. So those 5 that are a committee of one, I would encourage you to see if you can recruit some help.
Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of work for one person.
All right, all yours again, Christina.
Okay. Okay. Again, sorry, I'm on a delay here. Okay, positive stewardship examples. So basically everything on this list, right? Excellent document retention. So this means really not only are you keeping all the documents, but you're sharing them. They should be accessible to Rotarians upon request. So I know, Liz, I don't know if any of you were on that conversation before the meeting, is having problems finding some of the receipting from the reports. I mean, ideally, both sides, the host and international, should have a great document retention system and should be able to access it at any time or upon request. Strong training, sustainability, multiple bids and quotes. So to abide by our terms and conditions, you should have at least 3 vendors, bids from 3 vendors in order to have that requirement. Stewardship committee reviews grants to access positive stewardship. Stewardship committee sends out report reminders 6 weeks before reports are due. And report on time. I cannot stress this enough because I'm the one who does the world reporting. So submit your reports on time so that when I run the world reporting numbers, your district have the correct percentage in order to qualify for the next quarter. So for us, for stewardship, we request that your reporting is at 70% or higher for each district. And a stewardship subcommittee. This should be a team, not just an accountant. So for some of you who are the lone wolf, definitely try to recruit more people. So the stewardship district chair, since that person becomes the face of stewardship to the clubs, are they comfortable and persuasive talking in front of a group? Do they have the potential to be energetic and a positive force for supporting the clubs doing grants? And the district foundations committee's approach to the grant management seminar. Okay, positive stewardship outcomes. Of course, changes lives, You increase the Rotary brand and the reputation. Okay, there we go. Increase Rotary donations. Sorry, this is on a delay. Come on, Bullet. Hello? There we go. No perception of conflict of interest. No. Follows the four-way test. There we go. Joe, if you're doing that, thank you. I don't. Okay. And I'll toss it up to Joe again for the next poll.
Perfect. And I think the issue that Christina and I are having, she's sharing my machine and I'm in a hotel with bad internet and the mouse doesn't work very well over this internet. So, all right. So the next poll is your stewardship subcommittee active in your district? Pick that up.
Oh, good. 82%. I like that. I like those percentages.
So
Wow.
83%, it's saying they are active. So that's excellent. That's a great number to see. All right, I'll kick it back to Christina.
Okay. Sorry, still not. Okay, here we go. Best practices. So let's discuss some common stewardship issues. Hopefully, okay, best practices. I don't know on your end, but that was slow. Okay. Open communication between hosts and international partners is critical. This allows issues to be noted and addressed as soon as they arise. Similarly, open communication with the beneficiary community allows their suggestions, questions, and concerns to be addressed quickly and benefits sustainability. As a community, we'll have an open line of communication with sponsors if there are any issues with project equipment or trainings. From a financial standpoint, it's critical that projects funds remain in control of the sponsor Rotarians until the final project purchases are made. Advance transfers and handing off of the project ownerships may lead to issues, and this helps ensure that issues do not arise. It's also essential to have the full club involved in the grant project. Okay, best practices continued. Okay, that was quick. Let's see. Refer back to the club MOU, specifically section 3 and 6. The financial management plan is a written document that must be accessible to all club members. It should highlight where all records and receipts of disbursement of grant funds. It should also highlight the disbursement of grant funds, segregation of duties for handling funds, inventory system for equipment, records items purchased, ensures all grants activities comply with local law. Next is document retention, which it's going to come up, hopefully. Document retention. All receipts, invoices, and general ledger of the project must be documented. There must be a record-keeping system. And I'll toss it to Joe for the next question.
Perfect. The final polling question is, do you have a document retention policy in place for your district? Stop showing that result. So again, that's a really good number. 88% have a document retention policy in place for your district. And then the 12 that don't, hopefully it's something that you're working on. If you have any questions or anything on some examples or something, reach out to me or Christina, and we'd be happy to assist you with that. All right.
Okay. Next up is cadre. Hopefully. Okay. So who are the cadre? They're a group of volunteers. They possess professional expertise in the Rotary's area of focus. They assist TRF with the evaluation of Rotary grants and help Rotarians planning and implementing humanitarian projects. So this is our cadre at this point in time. At a glance, a quick snapshot, and also their backgrounds. And I'd like to highlight the new logo for the new area focus, the environment. So that is launching. So it's pretty exciting. So hopefully that will be a very good addition to our areas of focus. Just waiting for the next slide. Okay. Cadre members can play an important role outside of official assignments. By assisting clubs with the initial planning of global grants, cadre members can guide grant sponsors towards creating sustainable projects from the start. Community assessments. Community assessments help host Rotarians better understand the needs of a community. Community assessments are the foundation of project sustainability. They guarantee that people benefit from the project and have a voice in the project from the beginning. Cadre members can encourage Rotarian hosts to establish relationships and have discussions with project beneficiaries, and then guide Rotarians towards the most appropriate community assessments for the area. Monitoring and evaluation. Cadre members can guide Rotarians towards establishing strong project objectives and clear project measures, and encourage them to maintain trusting relationships with beneficiaries so that if there is a problem. And all projects encounter problems for sure. They will hear about it directly from the beneficiaries. Such relationships are important to help Rotarians in their oversight of the cooperating organization. Rotarian Global Grant Model. This helps Rotarians who are new and need to understand the global grant model process and application process. Other elements of planning and sustainable projects. Cadre members can assist host Rotarians in considering other elements of project planning, such as using local materials, identifying local funding sources, providing training, education, and community outreach, and motivating beneficiaries to take ownership. So with that, here's some links for you. If you have any, let me go back. If you have any cadre related questions, it's also under stewardship. But that is it for me.
Great. So thank you very much, Christina, and I appreciate your expertise. And so there's a couple questions that we'll answer first in the chat. What is ARFCC? It's actually ARRFC. It's Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator. And that basically means that I reach out to Rotary and get all the answers from them because they're the experts. But I help connect the dots for a lot of people in the district. How are cadres organized? Is there one for each project?
There's one for each area of focus. Of course, we're still trying to figure out the environment. So we're recruiting for that. And then there's also a cadre like Bobby that do the financial stuff, the auditing.
Perfect.
So if any of you have environmental backgrounds, let the cadre know. I don't know what the qualifications have to be, but
You reference cadre as consultants and trainers, but they're always volunteers, not paid. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, if and when we start traveling, we'll finance those expenses, but the actual auditing work is volunteer.
Any
And
other?
what's new this year with cadres too is cadres have been assigned to Rotary action groups. So if you're participating with any type of Rotary action group, they are part of the committee, and they are very active and engaged. So you'll find the cadre leaders are very helpful. They're very knowledgeable. They went through a major reorg this year. Instead of just having cadres that were in name only, they have to be with the professional expertise. They are evaluated, and they go through the training programs for all of the global grants and the district grants. And they have to pass those trainings as well. So again, the cadres can be wonderful for assistance in developing a project, as well as if you do run into any issues or trouble with the project.
Thank you.
So Pat, if you have the initials of PDG, that doesn't mean you qualify.
But how about RRFC?
Great.
Yeah, and Bobby, of course, the accountant that she is, travel, including lodging, is paid. So true.
Are there any other questions out there on stewardship? Anything we talked about? Anything that perhaps we didn't talk about that you had questions on in regards to stewardship?
Yes, Mary. Oh, Mary
Yeah.
had her hand raised.
I put my hand up. If we are considering doing a global grant with another club, obviously in another country,
Mhm.
how do we verify that they have a stewardship committee, and do they have to have one in order for us to do a grant with them?
I mean, it is highly recommended to do a grant with another club that has a stewardship committee. You can look through, if you're in My Rotary, you should be able to see if they have the stewardship, the DSSC in their leadership. And also you can, oh my gosh, I think some of you may be able to recommend that the website where you can see the different projects that are currently going on. And then you could see, it's basically kind of like the Yelp of Rotary. You could see the reviews of each of the projects. Oh my gosh, the site is like, if someone could help me with the site of that. You can see who are the best partners to have with Rotary Global Grants.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Prakash, you have your hand up. Oh, you're muted, I think. I can't. I think you're muted. We couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I was going to say it's also helpful to call the contact, the DRFC for that district, as well as if you can't get a hold of them, the DG, but they'll be able to provide you with the information that if they are qualified as a club within the district, going through the training and asking them about stewardship as well.
Okay.
Rotary
Thank you.
Showcase. That's
Yes.
you can go to Rotary.
It's been a long day.
I know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Prakash. You were. Can we hear you?
No, you're still muted, Prakash.
Yeah, you could type your question in the chat. We could look at your question in the chat.
Gosh, you might have your microphone turned off on your actual computer. You might check that because it doesn't show on here that you're muted.
Oh, Liz, I see your comment. Very good comment. Here, I'm going to put in the chat. Definitely email learn@rotary.org and just give them that suggestion. So that's the Learning Center staff. they're really trying to make sure everything in the Learning Center is fruitful and is user friendly for everyone, for all languages. So that's definitely a good recommendation. And then we could really start looking into teaching something like that on that online course. And yeah, and feel free to ask me anything about the grant management seminar training that's online, because I helped develop that. But I highly encourage it. It's 9 modules, so it does take some time. It's mobile friendly, and it does count towards your GMS or having to attend a grant management seminar.
Any other questions out there while we're waiting for Prakash to? Where would our stewardship committee? So, Pat, that might be a question for you. Since I'm recording this, I know last time Rotary put it out. Do we have a YouTube site or something for the zone, or?
You can put it on the Zone 25B and 29.org website, and I can send you Mark Shockey's contact information. He'd be happy to put it up there for you. There's also a way you can just link to it if it's stored on your site as well. But that's the best way, is to really put it on the Zone website.
Sounds good. Maybe I'll throw it on YouTube somewhere, and I'll just once I get that contact information, I'll throw a link out there so that it's on the Zone website.
Okay, great. And
Terry,
one thing that I was going to mention is that when you're doing a grant, the best thing is really to identify early on who's going to be the ones that are, what roles each person is going to play in the grant. And that helps with the reporting as well, because there's some people that are more focused on the accounting, the reporting, and it really does take the burden off of others that are working on implementing the grant, again, as a team. But thinking of it as stewardship doesn't start when a report is due. Stewardship starts early on.
Mm-hmm. Definitely from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, so a lot of you don't know me probably, but I am the endowment and major gift advisor for all of Region 36. So I go all the way from Texas to Ontario, and I'm following Nancy Rhodes, who is also on this call from up in your zone.
Welcome.
What we call stewardship is completely different from what you call stewardship, but it's related, because what we call stewardship in the Rotary giving area is the thanking,
Right.
and then involving and informing of our donors. But I can tell you that probably the number one thing that large donors to the Rotary Foundation want is they want to know about the stewardship that you're talking about.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, that's what they want, is they want to, if they're going to give us $1 million, they want to make sure that that money is used the right way. So I think it's really critical that that stewardship happens with global grants, and that we know about it, because that's really what they're looking for, is they're looking for to make sure that we're doing good stewardship with the money that they're giving.
Well, I can assure you we have a whole department. It's very much the brainchild of trustees. They were the ones who developed this department, and they've really been passionate about it. So we have, not only do we have I have most of the world, but we also have a department in New Delhi. So they're a 3-person team. And they have most of Asia. So they really monitor and audit most of Asia. And I have the rest of the globe. But thank you for that comment, Terry. And thank you for being an EMGA. Very interesting work, I'm sure, especially these days. Can't really go face to face with anybody, but
That
and
is
Nancy
true.
too. Must be hard doing it virtually.
It is a little more difficult, but we continue on, and there is maybe a little more interest in endowment giving, maybe because of the fact that a few more people are going to live forever. And so,
Yeah.
and so
That does
as,
happen.
as that may go. And so a lot of people, maybe more people are thinking about their estate plans. And so we are seeing more of that. So.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
Christina, I think, and I agree with what Terry's saying, but even those that aren't given $1 million, I was in a hotel bar talking about a project to somebody, and somebody overheard me talking about it. And they said, "What are you talking about? And what do you guys do?" And I explained it to them, and they said, "Well, I'm sure the money doesn't go there." And I explained how Rotary had, one of the top rated foundations. And this person gave me $100.
Wow.
For the project, because of who we are as Rotarians, and because we are good stewards of our money. And so, whether they're given $1 million to Terry or $100 to me in a bar, for the right reasons, it is going to the people that really need it, and that goes a long way with us as Rotarians and the respect that we have, and that's how important it is that a stranger would give us money based on who we are.
Oh my gosh, great story. Yes, definitely. Yeah, some stewardship issues keep me up late at night, but do know, like, it is well scrutinized. We work with people in the host countries all the time, and we really try to get everyone in compliance with the MOU. That's the first and foremost thing, and make sure everyone's on the same page. And we also keep it confidential. So anyone who does have a stewardship issue, they can feel confident that it's not going to be shared with anybody else. They can also report it directly to me at the stewardship department email, or they can call the contact center. If they don't feel comfortable going to district leaders first, if they feel maybe the district leaders might be in on something too, strange things happen. So they feel confident that all of that is confidential. Bob, you have your hand raised.
Just an observation. I've served on loan committees and small venture review committees, and the extensive work that our stewardship and and grant committee go through to look at grant applications, I think is astounding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's remarkable when I think of loans that we've been involved with on the business side. Pales in comparison to the extent of vetting that we go through on the grant. So I'm very impressed. It's really easy to talk up our stewardship with that.
Oh, that's wonderful. And very true. Very true. Any other questions?
Great. I want to just thank you all for your time. I know, it's 7:45 Central Time for any of you joining us in different time zones and stuff and traveling. I appreciate all that you do in Rotary. This is a wonderful organization, and it's because all the people like you that are out there serving and making a difference. And Christina, thank you to you and the RI staff for all the hard work you do. We know that you've got 3 children wanting to spend time with mom, so we appreciate you giving us the time. Even though they're probably behind you knocking on the door. So
yes, it's not now. I think my husband's feeding them dinner, so that kept it quiet for a while. But no, thank you for your patience. In this pandemic, I mean, it's just there's no boundaries anymore. I'm gonna see your kids, you're gonna see my kids, like see you in pajama bottoms, whatever the case may be. It's we've lost all sense of like decorum, so it's okay.
It's okay.
Big happy family.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we as Rotarians keep doing what we do and making a difference in people's lives, and that's all that matters and needed now more than ever. So thank you, Christina, for all that you do. And just so everybody knows, she is wonderful to reach out to. Quick response. When I asked her if she'd help on this, she didn't even question it. She goes, "Yeah, when do you need me and where?" And so I appreciate it. So, and I appreciate all of you. I will, like I mentioned, I will get this out on the Zone website. Pat will send me that information. We'll get it posted so that if anybody wants to rewatch this or if anybody wants to send this to anybody, we'll have the link out there. And if there's any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Christina or even Pat or anybody else, or Terry if you have some EMGA stuff. So we're here to help you. We're here to serve you. Great. Well, everybody, thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your evening. Tom,